congressional seat blue with Katie Hill, we still had an all Republican council in both cities, Palmdale and Lancaster. So
And Santa
even with
Clarita.
1 or 2 blue seats, I mean, I still consider it a very red area.
Yeah.
Okay, we are now live. We are now broadcasting to Facebook. So as we kick off this meeting and get started, we don't have a ton of people on the call right now. So I think that we can actually do what we normally do, which is just basic introductions. So my name is Jenna Beck. I live in Aliso Viejo. I'm the chapter leader for PDA South Orange County. Dr. Bill, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. Thanks. I am Bill Honigman. I live in unincorporated Orange County, which is just east of Santa Ana, north of Tustin, kind of in the foothills of the Saddleback Mountains. And I am the other Orange County chapter leader, so kind of central and north and west Orange County. And also I am the state coordinator for PDA and head up our national healthcare issue team, very active inside the Democratic Party in California. And as such, I'm the Southern California vice chair of the senior caucus of the California Democratic Party. So kind of inside and outside the Democratic Party. And a retired emergency room physician.
Great, thank you. David, do you want to go next?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Dave Barlavi. They call me Coach Dave out here in Santa Clarita. I am an elected school board member in the Saugus Union School District. And I'm a burner. Yeah. And it's fun, man. It's fun out here in Santa Clarita trying to beat down fascists. So, but Wade and I are trying. So it's great. It's really, absolutely, baby. It's really great meeting you guys, and thanks for having us here. And I feel very welcome. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Wade, would you like to go next?
Yes, my name is Wade. I am a delegate through the Los Angeles County Democratic Party, and I am also the chapter lead for Our Revolution in PDA Antelope Valley.
Thank you. Dan O'Neill's on the call.
Hi, everybody. I'm not going to be able to match Dr. Bill's credentials there, but I'll trade your fascist, Wade, for my fascist out here in Arizona. I got Andy Biggs, who is the head of the crazy right-wing caucus in the House of Representatives, the Freedom Caucus. So I'm Dan O'Neill. I'm the national field coordinator for PDA. I deal with chapters all over the country. And every once in a while, I'll jump in on a chapter meeting just to see what's going on. And I live in Phoenix, outside of Phoenix.
Thank you, Dan. Bridget.
Yes, hello. My name is Bridget. I live in Orange. I previously worked with KDEM's coordinated campaign as the Riverside County field coordinator. And most recently, I am a board member of the Orange County National Organization for Women.
Wonderful, thank you. Pat Davis. Or was Pat the one that just said that she had to jump off or something?
Yeah, I think, no, wait, no, it wasn't. It was Joy, I think her name was.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm just trying to find my mute button.
Oh, no problem. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Jenna. Hello, all. Pat Davis. Following this group, I'm not necessarily active anywhere, but most of you I'd follow just about anywhere because you keep changing the planet. My activism is mostly around issues related to the unhoused and jail reform and county budget issues here in Orange County. I live in Anaheim.
Thank you, Pat. And I see Rich is on the call too. Rich Procida.
Hi, my name is Rich Procida. I'm an attorney and author. I write about religion and politics, and I produce a podcast called Bible Study for Progressives. I'll put the latest podcast in the chat for everybody. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Rich. I see that we just had another person jump on. Candace, we're just doing introductions. If you'd like to just share where you're from and what your name is and what sort of involvement you have in politics. Candace Carey?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Good evening. How are you? Thanks for inviting me. I'm glad to be here. I am a podcast host. I a co-host and created a docuseries about reparations. We're on chapter 7, where we've interviewed senators, honorable judges, mayors, celebrities, and the like. And I'm also a current member of the Illinois Green Party. And thank you for having this discussion. And I look forward to what we're going to learn and talk about today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, Candace. That's wonderful.
Okay.
I think I got everybody who's here right now. Did I miss anybody? Okay, I don't think I did. So generally what we do in the first 20 to 30 minutes of the meeting is just handle some PDA business. And I always like to put Dr. Bill on the spot and ask him to tell us the story of PDA and who we are as an organization and how we got started.
Well, okay, thank you. Happy to be on the spot, right? Everybody has to go out of their comfort zone. You know, that's the only way we're going to make any change. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So, so Dan O'Neill will know this story very well, and I could bore him to death with it, or others perhaps. But PDA, Progressive Democrats of America, was founded in the year 2004, mostly by virtue of the fact that the Democratic Party nominated a non-progressive as the nominee for president, namely John Kerry, when we had two progressives at the time, Dennis Kucinich and Howard Dean, a former progressive, who had folks working on both of their campaigns, who came together. The Dean people and the Kucinich people came together and formed PDA. And at the time, 2004, we had just entered into a war that absolutely at least half the country, if not more, had clearly opposed, had no idea what the hell we were doing in Iraq to begin with. And, you know, a whole lot of us figured it was immoral and illegal that it was actually happening. So, so both Dean and Kucinich opposed that war, and we were all about actually ending wars and occupations, and also taking that money from a war-based economy and priorities in this country and putting them into things like healthcare, renewable energy, education, you know, and reforming other domestic agenda in America. So we did this with the strategy of what we refer to as the inside-outside strategy as regards to the Democratic Party, because there were a whole lot of people obviously inside the Democratic Party who wanted to go along still with that kind of, you know, go along to get along kind of attitude that had ended up resulting in a failed Democratic candidate in 2004, the same way they had failed in 2000 with Al Gore, and would go on to fail once again with Hillary Clinton in 2008. So, so that was what the PDA model was all about. Organizationally, we set up what we call chapters across the country with the goal to have one in every congressional district in America, so that PDA chapters could then influence their members of Congress or challenge them in primaries if they weren't going along with what you might consider to be the progressive agenda. Ultimately, we got involved in some pretty big name primary contests, including encouraging Bernie Sanders to run both in 2016 and in 2020, because we knew Bernie would talk about our agenda. And anyone who's ever heard Bernie give any speech ever would know that he's going to go through 20 things always that are important to us as progressives. And that's what came up in our discussions after 2012 was who can go into 2016 talking about those things that we consider important to move forward into the presidential election. And sure enough, Bernie, talked about Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, the fight for 15, significant criminal justice reform, immigration issues, all of the things that we have had in our platform and have pushed in state parties across the country. So since then, we've gone on to develop even this as a kind of a modus operandi. Right now, one of the biggest things we're doing in PDA is what we call our Congressional Liaison Program, where we have teams across the country that are corresponding with members of Congress on specific piece of legislation. As you know, this last week, the new Medicare for All Act of 2021 was introduced by Representatives Pramila Jayapal and Debbie Dingell, and our congressional liaison teams are right now very active in the process of contacting all members of Congress to get on that bill and create that kind of momentum. So that's basically the national PDA scene, and of course, lots of stuff going on at the state and local level of PDA groups across the country. That's the basics of it, Jenna. And you feel free to fill in what I've left out.
I think you got just about everything. I did drop the link to the liaison program in our chat. I think maybe the only thing that I think you didn't hit on was change makes change. Did you cover that?
No, thank you. You teed that one up for me. So so I should have, and Mike Fox would have maybe knocked me in the head. But Jenna's referring to our donor program and sustainer program in particular. And that is that as a national organization, we need your donations. We do need donations from individuals, local level. Terrific. Thank you so much. We just had our national healthcare issue team call just before this one. And folks were asked to donate there as well. But of course, we have a national field team. We have a national database and website, and all those things need some money to keep all that going. So if you can chip in, $5 a month, $10 a month, PDA does need your donation to keep it afloat. So thank you for that. It costs as much as one designer coffee at Starbucks, which we're all buying a whole heck of a lot less of lately, being stuck at home the way we are. So I guarantee you donating that once a month to PDA is doing something of tremendous value. So thanks, Jenna. That's what we call our Change Makes Change program. You can go to the link there that's in the chat, or just go to pdamerica.org and click on donate. And by the way, since we're talking about the website for a second and the database, if you think you're not getting PDA emails, we want you to be in the loop. We send out daily messaging. That's really important, and we work on it. We're very conscientious about it. So if you go to pdamerica.org and click on the join button, you can update your information, your profile information for us to make sure that you get our daily email messaging, so that we know that you're in the loop, what's going on, what actions we're taking, and especially what messaging and framing we're using on the issues, so we can all be on the same page. It's like people say, well, why should you preach, aren't you preaching to the choir? I always say it's important that the choir all sing on the same key. So let's all sing on the same key, like Dave Sonneborn's shirt right there, one of my favorite Purdy shirts. So that's our thing, is talking about the issues. How do we frame that discussion? And let's be sure you're getting the PDA daily emails. And thanks again, Jenna.
Thank you, Dr. Bill. So we're still a little bit ahead of schedule, and hoping that my speakers are going to jump on here. I don't know that they're actually on the call yet.
I had a question whenever you're ready.
What's that?
Sorry, Jenna. I had a question whenever you want to field it.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, throw a question out.
I had a question for Jenna and Dr. Bill. And Jenna and I have talked about this. First of all, I ran for ADEM, and thank you, PDA, for endorsing me. I appreciate that. Although the local establishment Democrats came after me hard and basically crushed my campaign, I was very proud to have your endorsement, and I will contribute using that thing. Thank you very much. My question is, how hard is it to open a chapter? And I would love to I've already talked to Jenna about it, but talk to you guys about maybe opening one out here in Santa Clarita.
I'm glad to answer that. Dan O'Neill is the man. Dan is the
Dave,
man.
get in touch
Dan the
with
man.
me, Dave. Email me, Dave, dan@pdamerica.org. So you're close to Wade's chapter, right?
Yeah. Well, about 40 miles south.
40 miles south. Well, in Phoenix, 40 miles is nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
It's like, that's like going across the street. So yeah, but we can work something out. But in the meantime, I think your closest chapter is Antelope Valley chapter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Dave comes to our meetings too.
Oh, he does.
I'm a
Okay.
member.
So
Mhm.
Dave, I would say as long as we're in the COVID bubble here, bubble, and we're meeting online, we're not meeting in a church basement or a union hall, I would just hang out with Dave's chapter, and then down the road we could talk later, okay, about how we could get your chapter 6 months from now when things get loosened up a little bit.
There's a very specific issue that's going on in Santa Clarita that I think would be very helpful to have a chapter here. But yeah, I'm in no rush.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah.
Well, let me just add to that, because I might know the difference of the regions more than Dan would, because they are very different, regions. So, and being in Southern California, I'm happy to jump in my car and drive to either, Victorville or Santa Clarita at any time once COVID, goes away, right? Is it ever going to go away? Who knows? So, but it is actually incredibly easy to start a chapter. I mean, I always say our chapter model is 5 people in a living room, or,
Yep.
in this case, 5 people on Zoom. And what do you need to do to get 5 people in a living room? Well, you need to email out to 500 people, and have 50 people open the email and 5 people respond, right? And we've got probably 10 times that many. I mean, seriously, because we, in our database, we have many more than that we can email out to. So even if you don't bring, your next, like Dan O'Neill and I would go back far enough that, I mean, how many meetings have you ever been to where they say, bring 5 friends with you next time?
Right.
You don't have to nowadays. All we have to do is use the database. And I guarantee you, we will get 5 people in your Zoom meeting room for a chapter meeting. So we could do that next week if you wanted to.
So Dave, I
yeah.
just put my email in the chat. Sorry, I'll walk over you there, Dr. Bill. And I have a whole process. There's a startup kit, there's chapter application, there's a whole bunch of things that I will get to you. Okay.
I'm sending an email right now.
There we go. Yeah.
Very cool. And I'm happy to help you with that, Dave, because I am the state coordinator. So that's my job here in California too.
Maybe Dan can forward my email to you so we can all email together, and Jenna too.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I
my-
love Santa Clarita and I love Victorville.
Nice.
And I lived in Bakersfield. That's where I did my emergency training. And I also lived in Northern California, when I went to undergrad. So, some kind of, I mean, that's what we are in California. We're a bunch of nomads anyhow, right? We're all like always, going
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah, 50 miles is nothing for Los Angelians and Southern Californians.
Yep. Yeah. I guess like Arizona that way.
Truth.
I have been texting with the speakers, and they are running late. Hopefully, we will be able to get them on this call. But I think in the meantime, there are several of you with a lot of expertise in different areas that are on this call. For example, we have Dr. Bill, who's doing weekly updates on COVID. And on the status of Medicare for All bills that we're working on, not only at the state level, but on the national level. So we can definitely discuss those topics. And we also have Igor's on the phone. Is Igor, aren't you? You jumped in after we did introductions. Aren't you like a head of Sierra Club or something? Would you like to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Hi. Hi, Jenna. Sorry, I got your Facebook invite, and I just follow my calendar where Facebook events and Google Calendar leads, and it's good to see you all. I'm a delegate and co-chair of the Resolutions Committee. And yeah, I'm pretty involved with the Sierra Club. Used to be chapter chair for the San Francisco Bay chapter, and currently on the California Executive Committee and running for the National Sierra Club Board. Good to be here with y'all.
Thank you. Is there, do we have anybody else on the call who did not have an opportunity to introduce themselves, who would like to take that opportunity now?
Let's see.
Okay. Dr. Bill, since we're still trying to fill time, I don't know what's going on. From what I understand, Marcus might have been hiking today. And so I don't know if he's gotten caught in some sort of traffic on his way back. And what exactly is, I have limited communication going on right now of what in the world is happening here with my speakers. But would you like to take this opportunity to share with us any information about COVID and Medicare for All legislation?
Sure, I'm happy to. And also great to see Igor on the call. And I know there's been a whole lot of discussion this weekend about climate. There was a global climate strike, and that was prompted, I think, primarily by the Fridays for Future group globally. And so that's also great to hear. And I've also been part of the team for PDA that's been attending weekly meetings to get support for the truth and racial healing and transformation discussions that has been the lead sponsor in the House has been Representative Barbara Lee. And I think Barbara Lee is your representative, Igor. And but as we say in Barbara Lee country, Barbara Lee speaks for me, right? So she always speaks for me too. So thank you, Igor, for sharing Barbara Lee with us all in that respect. And Sheila Jackson Lee, whose bill also on racial healing is in discussion of reparations in particular. So PDA has been at the table in those discussions as well. We're certainly not just focused on war and healthcare, although I always I like to show off my healthcare non-warfare button, which is a PDA classic. And yes, kind of healthcare is my thing, having been in healthcare for so many years. But I did mention that the Healthcare for All Act of 2020 2021 was rolled out this last week by Pramila Jayapal and Debbie Dingle. We had a record-breaking number of original co-sponsors this time around. And those who have been following this historically know that that it's been introduced over and over and over again in the House of Representatives, going back now about 20 years since John Conyers originally introduced single-payer Medicare for all legislation. So this time we had 113 original co-sponsors. That's the most we've ever started the discussion in the House with. That includes 14 House committee chairs, including the very powerful chair of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, which includes health, and absolutely no bill on healthcare goes through the House without going through the Committee on Energy and Commerce. And that is Frank Pallone as the chair, and he has promised hearings on this bill alone. In the last session, they heard bills on healthcare, including the Medicare for All bill. This time, he is dedicating a hearing, at least one hearing, probably many, on this bill, on the Medicare for All Act of 2021. So there's lots of enthusiasm for it. We've asked organizations across the country to sign on, and when they rolled out the bill on Wednesday, there were over 300 community organizations, including many PDA chapters, state chapters, and local chapters, who were signed on as community-based organizations in support of the bill. Bernie Sanders will be rolling out the Senate version shortly. He's been kind of wrapped up with, his budget committee chair duties on the Senate side, trying to get everything, into reconciliation on the Senate to avoid the filibuster and all of that. So, his staff has not been able to roll out their Medicare for All Act quite as quickly as the House version, but that will come out shortly. And so anything folks can do, like if you belong to a community organization, I will drop the link in the chat. If you can get on, that list of community organizational endorsement list. If you belong to another organization that can sign on, please do sign up for that. And then, like I said before, through our PDA Congressional Liaison Program, if you're not a part of that already, please join up with that. I will drop that link as well. That's where we go to members of Congress and say, hey, I'm a constituent, I live in the district, and I want you to sign on to this. We thank those who are on it already, and we spank those who are not. Okay, so that's what all of us can do, and we are organizing teams of folks to do that now, which I think is going to be way more effective than we've ever been in this type of thing. So I'm happy to take questions. Of course, California has rolled out a new single payer bill in Sacramento as well. That's AB 1400. That also looks very promising because it's starting this time on the assembly side, which is where we got blocked last time. So now Assembly Speaker Anthony Rendon has apparently let it be, rolled out on the assembly side. And he was the one who blocked it last time. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that is a wow. So
we're a big deal.
Yeah, and we have more co-sponsors, original co-sponsors on that bill in Sacramento than we had last time as well. So the momentum for single payer, whether it's state or national, right now is bigger than it's ever been. Go figure. I mean, maybe COVID, I don't know. Call me crazy. COVID.
That's fantastic. Could you imagine? Could you guys just imagine us having European style healthcare sometime in our lifetimes?
I can more than imagine it.
It's amazing.
That'd be awesome. So David, you dropped in the chat that you have an important announcement.
Let's take any questions for Dr. Bill first. It's tangential to that.
Okay, yeah, I don't see any hands raised, but if people, we have a small group, So if people do have questions, feel welcome to jump in and ask a question.
But if there aren't, I'll be happy to make a really amazing announcement. So you guys are familiar with the Progressive Caucus in the California Democratic Party,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Mr. Wade Alexander is running to be the chair, right?
Of membership, the chair of membership, not the chair. Yeah.
Yeah, the membership chair for the California Progressive Caucus. So if you are a member of the California Progressive Caucus, it's only between $10 and up. You can become a member, and then you could vote for Wade as that chair, and we can have an amazing local Southern California progressive representing us. So if you want to drop something in the chat, Wade, where
Oh, yeah. I'll
can,
drop the forum for endorsement. Hold
yeah,
on.
but I've been
Find-
trying to get Wade to run for something for the longest time, and I'm so proud to be a part of his campaign. Next Sunday at 7 p.m., we're doing a really fun campaign Zoom for Wade, to which all of you are welcome, where I am going to do an educational on cigars from A to Z and how to enjoy a cigar. You don't have to smoke one, but it'll just be fun to learn more about the world and enjoyment of cigars. And then we're gonna do a pitch for Igor. Igor, is that you trying to smoke a cigar, Igor, or you flabbergasted? Yeah. But then we're gonna do a pitch for Wade. So everybody's welcome to that.
Yeah, and I just dropped the forum in the chat to endorse me if you want to. Of course, there's no pressure, but I would be very honored to receive the endorsement of any one of you here. So,
I mean, I've been a progressive activist for over 30 years, and I'm telling you, Wade is money. That man is money. He's going to be a superstar if he keeps going. So,
and the truth is, I wouldn't consider myself like some rock star organizer, right? I just go where my passion is, right? That's why I went to Georgia. It's why I went to DC to protest Trump when he was inaugurated. It's why I went to Standing Rock. I just go where my passion is, and I'm passionate about progressive politics. And, I want to see the Progressive Caucus reach new heights. That way we can do in California what progressives just did in Nevada.
you guys, Wade and his best friend, Matthew Wheeler, who's one of my best friends, flew to Georgia to campaign where we won. And our friend Matthew Wheeler passed away in his hotel room one night in Georgia during them two campaigning there. So one of our beloved, and Matthew Wheeler was what do you call it, Wade, where you dress up and I forget.
Oh yeah, Matthew was a drag queen. He was an
Matthew
LGBT
was a
activist.
drag queen galore. He was such an awesome guy.
The thing about Matthew is, he had health issues the entire time I've known him, right? But it never held him back from doing what he's passionate about. He always stuck with it and always did it no matter what. Thank you, Dr. Bill. I really appreciate you.
I just have a quick question for you. Wade, did Matthew consider, was the pronouns him? Did he just enjoy, help me out there? Because I know that there's a whole spectrum of different issues with LGBTQ. There are people who actually identify as female or they're not,
Matthew identified as a they, them, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I wasn't sure if we're allowed to say drag queen anymore. I thought that was kind of actually not allowed anymore.
I'm not entirely sure, but well, no, he just it was a performance art. He would get up on stage in West Hollywood and he would do it.
Oh, he called himself a drag queen. He was so amazing.
if I may just kind of clarify some things, there's 3 types of people we're talking about: transgender, which is what I am, the she/her identifier. There's cross-dressers who may just wear clothing of a separate gender from what they identify with in the privacy of their homes. And then there's drag queens, which are the performance element of that latter category. So not all cross-dressers are drag queens, but all drag queens are a performance of cross-dressing. And for a non-binary person, it still is. It seems like we're talking about a non-binary person.
Yes, Matthew was non-binary and also did drag performance. There's Matthew.
I loved him so much.
Yeah, so Matt and I got elected as delegates together a first time in like 2019, I believe. And the first thing we did was join the Progressive Caucus. So
He was the best.
Wow, thank you. Thank you.
and look, I don't really know whether or not I'm going to win this seat, right? I'm just going for it because it's something I'm passionate about. But there's really no harm in going for it, right? And showing my passion to the rest of people that are there. So that's what I'm doing. Dr. Bell?
Yeah, just Jenna, real quick, if I can ask Wade, because I appreciate people who step up and run for stuff in general, and I know you and I like you. And, you know, so I don't even need to know this to know to endorse you, but I am curious, what is your platform for running? You know, what do you think you bring to the office of membership chair?
Well, I am currently the membership chair for a chapter of Toastmasters. So I am experienced in the role, right? And I'm also the vice president of my Dem Club. And in that Dem Club, we are leading a successful membership drive that has increased the membership of our club exponentially. And I plan on doing that in Progressive Caucus. I want to run a statewide membership drive for the Progressive Caucus to grow the membership exponentially statewide.
What's cool about Matt is even though he's a super progressive, like super burner, all Democrats love him. Like even Democrats who hate each other all have this common denominator in Wade. So it's cool.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks, Wade.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my speakers. I don't know if this is going to happen. But I do. So I want to apologize for that first off, if they are unable to actually jump on for me. But
Igor just raised his hand.
What's that?
Igor just raised his hand.
Oh, Igor, do you have a question?
Is it Igor or Igor? I'm not sure.
Hi, this is Igor, and sorry, I'm on the road right now. But first of all, that is so cool, Wade. I'm gonna sign your form. That's amazing. Thanks for running. And that I probably should have put that in my introduction, but I'm running for chair of the Environmental Caucus. Our very good friend, Farrell, and current chair, is passing the torch. And she has her hands full on the DNC, although she's truly going to be irreplaceable. But we're going to be announcing the most diverse slate we've ever had for the Environmental Caucus shortly. And it's only $10 to join the Environmental Caucus. It's one of the most affordable games in town, and would definitely love to, would be honored to earn your vote. And please become a member if you're not already. And if you are already a member, thanks for your membership. We've done a lot of work together with the Progressive Caucus, and I hope that we can continue that and just keep making good travel together.
Absolutely. And you can add my name to your endorsement list as well, Wade Alexander, DSCC delegate.
Wade, thank you so much. I definitely will. I'm really honored. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Me too, Igor. Dr. Bill.
Thank you, Dr. Bill. That's amazing. Dr. Bill is one of my mentors. When I first joined as a delegate, Dr. Bill was there showing me the ropes.
You're one of my heroes, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay.
You can put me down too, my brother.
Thank you so much.
You got it. You don't know who the hell I am, but you put me down.
I will soon. You're good people. We're gonna have some fun together.
Rock on, rock on.
Is there anybody else who is running for something right now that would like to talk about it? Feel welcome to raise your hand if you're running for an office or you're running for a party position or whatnot.
I am running from establishment Democrats. Does that count for anything?
I think we all are, aren't we?
We're all doing that, yeah.
Okay.
I will just say I'm running for re-election as the Southern California Vice Chair for the Senior Caucus of the California Democratic Party. We have a terrific chair, Ruth Carter from Marin, and she's been under her leadership. We've had, I think it's every other month, we've had caucus meetings throughout the COVID confinement period. Ooh, I kind of like the way that sounds. It's the first time I've come up with that expression, COVID confinement period. But you know, every other month, I've never heard of that for caucuses of the state party, and we've just had terrific programs, great speakers, and you know, they've been well attended, and we get great feedback. So you know, the caucuses of the Democratic Party are really become a place for you know, for grassroots, for the rank and file, for the real activists and advocates inside the Democratic Party to get together and discuss the issues. And that's oftentimes you know, the bane of existence to the corporate and establishment Democrats inside the party, who just rather we go away altogether. They just want to hear from their big dollar donors, and they don't want to, you know, to them we're just a big pain in the ass, you know. So so anyhow, I just have nothing but respect for you know, for Igor and Wade, and you know, anybody who's stepping up to try and help to organize the caucuses of the state party. Thank you for that, because that's where it's at. Talking about the issues, making sure that the party platform is, you know, way ahead of the politicians in the state, so that, you know, at some point, at least, we can call them on the carpet, hold them accountable. At the time, people say, well, Democrats aren't really in favor of single payer. And I'll say, oh yeah, then why has it been, you know, in California, it's been in our platform for more than a decade, you know? So, I mean, here it is right here, you know, on our website. You can go there to see that. So it only happens because we're willing to do that kind of organizing, do that kind of work. So, so anyhow, thanks. Sorry, I got Gabby.
No problem. So I think I think it was Candace who mentioned in her introduction. I think Candace, if you're still with us and can unmute, I believe that you mentioned it. Was it you that mentioned in your introduction that you've actually been working on reparations work in Illinois?
Yes, yes, we are. We have our own reparations committee or work group that we established within the Illinois Green Party. And any one of you, even though my initiative is reparations, I mean, anyone that's on this call, you're welcome to join or be a guest on our show, Collective Sessions. We have that every Sunday, and it's I'm willing. I'll send out the link. I'll put the information in the chat. But basically, what we're doing is we're just gathering information to put together a docuseries, and then establish or work with policy writers to focus with, long as it's like Chicago centric and focusing on that that state of Illinois. The city of Evanston, the county of Evanston, Illinois, just passed, where they're going to be the first county to fund reparations, and they're meeting this Monday. So, I mean, we're willing to endorse anyone on this call or work with anyone that wants to partner up with us and help us. I mean, we're at the stage of policy writing. So if anyone on this call is a policy writer that can help us author our policy and get that presented, that would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Would do you have like anything that do you have any like slides or anything that you would like to share to tell us about?
I'm using my cell phone right now. I'm not at my desk, but I would definitely, is there a website or an email? I'm willing, I don't mind sending you our YouTube page, Facebook. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, we have some of our past shows on there. And my handle is Keme Lucci. That's a nickname that my grandmother gave me as a child, so I still use that. And that's CAMAY LUCHIE. And we have, there you can view all of our recent interviews. I can email you, Jenna or Bill, anyone, our direct handle once I'm stationed.
Yes.
But I started off as an actress. I'm just getting into the political scene. You know, I started in the movie Drumline with Zoe Saldana, Nick Cannon, and as a consultant. So I just found my way working with some politicians in Chicago. Working with some politicians. I volunteered to help a politician by the name of Aaliyah Sarfraz. She was running for District 52 state rep. So I volunteered my services and joined the Green Party 2 months ago. And I spoke with her about my, reparations, and she said that she would come on board and help with just reigniting the conversation of reparations for the ADOS. And that's what we've been focusing on thus far. And I mean, I believe our work is gaining the attention and the ears of people worldwide just through our conversations, our sessions. But going forward, what I would like to happen is to have a statewide bill passed and presented locally in Chicago, and then see if that way, that momentum can go over to the other states and then make its way into the Congress, House of Representatives, and see if we can pass something at least before Biden's term is up, or see if the next president would be interested in funding reparations. We do have the HR, is it 30 bill? Is it HR 30 or 41 that
40.
they're, for HR 40.
40.
Thank you. To study reparations. And hi David. And I mean, I'm really happy and grateful for that move, that start of studying reparations. And I think we're to the point where it should be funded. And so we can just move past it. It's time to move past the talk of slavery. I think that the first step would be an apology, and then funding it in a way where the slaves that experience that harsh, treatment, can have some type of healing, some type of retribution, and then we can just move on as a country.
Thank you.
So that's what I would like to see happen.
Dr. Bill, do you have your hand up?
I do. I just wanted to see if Candace might be connected with the group. There's a national organizing group that that's I don't know if it has a name other than TRHT, Truth Racial Healing Transformation Organizing Group. That's organized by Dr. Paul Zeitz, Zeitz, that we attend, PDA National attend, and it's a big roundtable group, like 40 plus people, including artists and other people, stage and theater people as well. And we also work with the congressional staff for Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who's that's her bill, HR 40, and Congresswoman Barbara Lee, her bill is HCon Res 19, which is on the Truth and Racial Healing Transformation Commission establishment. So we've been trying to find more co-sponsors for both of those. They actually have a huge number on both of those bills already. So those bills should be coming to the House floor and should be passed, really, because they're actually popular right now with progressives and more like moderate, so-called moderate Democrats as well. So that should be going right through Congress, both of those bills. So, but if you're not already connected with Dr. Paul Zeitz's group, I'd be happy to connect you.
Thank you. I would love that, Phil. I would really
Sure.
appreciate that.
I'll drop my email in the chat. Can you pick that up right now, or?
Oh, yeah. 1 second.
Okay.
And if you have material, I know you're not exactly in a place where you can like drop a lot of information for us right now, Candace, but I will put the web address for our chapter is our revsocal@gmail.com. So I'm going to drop that in the chat for you too. And if you have any information on this that you'd like to share, we can put it out on our chapter page for you. Okay, so I have throughout the meeting been trying to get my speakers to jump on. I don't think I'm going to get them at this point. So I do apologize to everybody that this didn't quite work out, but I hope that it was a productive meeting anyway. And so if there's anything that, if you have any announcements or upcoming events that you would like to mention at this point, just go ahead and raise your hand. Dr. Bill's hand is still raised. Is that from the previous, or do you have something new?
I could always find something. No, I'm sorry, but I will take the opportunity to invite everyone to our next healthcare emergency town hall. It is every Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific. It's 4 p.m. Eastern. And we just did a great town hall today on how to talk to so-called moderates and conservative, whether it's the members of the public or your members of Congress. So, but this next week, I think we're going to be having a couple of healthcare folks from Florida who are, they're both medical persons. One of whom we've had on before is our own Medicare for All advocate is Dr. Carolina Ampudia. And she herself is an immigrant from Mexico, has enlightened us with a lot of information about healthcare, how healthcare works in Mexico. She has a great friend who herself ran for Congress, is Dr. Alina, I think it's Valdez, who is going to speak to us about Cuban healthcare. She knows quite a bit about. So, so that should be extremely, interesting as well. So, so once again, join us every Sunday for the PDA Healthcare Emergency Town Halls, which have been, I think, really good.
Jenna, did you go to those?
Pardon me?
I was asking Jenna, Jenna, do you go to those?
I usually do. I did not today because I was getting my first Moderna shot. Is that what it's called?
Hey, congratulations.
Hey, good, good.
I was at the Anaheim Convention Center during Dr. Bill's meeting today.
The reason I asked is if you do go to those, feel free to drop it into Zagars, Unity Zagars, and get some more people in there. We have a private chat group on Facebook of Democrats where we share different events. So Jenna's in there, so she'll share it with us.
Yeah, we do this Dr. Bill does this almost every week, unless there's like something. I think one of the only weeks you didn't do it was when you were at like an actual Medicare for All convention or something, right?
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, Rich, I see you've got your hand raised next.
Yeah, I put it in the chat already on April 11th, the Interfaith March Los Angeles with Rep. Karen Bass and others. So the link's in the chat. You can check it out.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And then we have Pat. Pat Davis.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
I think you need to speak up a little bit.
Uh-oh. Let's see if this is any better.
Yes.
That is better. Can you hear me? I'm sorry. These are new earbuds and I'm not sure what they're doing. Anyway, I put it in the chat too. I took Rich's lead, and with the work that we do with the unhoused, we're involved in advocating for housing in all our different Orange County communities, including county properties, Dr. Bill. And there's a chance that you can do any advocacy in your community. The Kennedy Commission, which has been in this business of affordable housing for 25 years, has offered staff to manage a communication list. So if you're interested, the link is in the chat, and they will get in touch with you when any and every city is doing their work. I live in Anaheim, which is a nightmare on many levels, but they have a housing element group started. But the work is critical the next few months. And then over the next 8 years, we try to keep our cities honest. And it's happening all over California, David. So I know out your way, there's a lot going on, and there are so many people that are unhoused. But this project is statewide, and it's really a great way to bring those who are housing insecure into the conversation, along with those who are, insecurely housed as it costs. So anyway, thank you for that. And if there's a chance to hook in, we'll see you in some of those other rooms too.
All right. Thank you, Pat. So I think I got all the hands, right? So we are, does anybody have any other announcements before I wrap this up? Bridget's hands is raised.
Hi, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. I would like to talk about the organization I'm with, Orange County National Organization for Women. After COVID, we had a lot of restructuring to do, but now we are reorienting our group to more direct action, community involvement, as well as legislative activity. So we are having our first reorganization meeting on May 1st to talk about labor rights with regards to May Day. Once we have our panel of speakers, which we are still determining, we are going to be having a postcarding campaign and a call-in campaign towards Senator Feinstein. We are arguing for the elimination of the filibuster so that we can pass the PRO Act in to secure labor rights. As we all know, a big part of progressive activity is securing that we not only have those sorts of safety nets, but that we actually have the ability to have good unionized jobs that will provide for the workers' rights going forward, even in a society where we might gain some more seats. We are going to be, throughout the year, targeting Senator Feinstein specifically with many activities to get her to either go with the reforms to the filibuster that would force it to be a horribly inconvenient process for the Republicans, or for the elimination of it entirely. Because for all of our work to get done with the Senate, now recognizes that we need to get those senators that are most on the fence on the subject, which Feinstein is, to drop their anti-filibuster reform statements. There's been a little bit of progress with some of them, so we might not get a total repeal, but we might see some meaningful action on it. With the end of the filibuster, we can admit Puerto Rico and BC, which would then remove our need to rely on some of our more moderate senators like Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, so long as you could get a progressive candidate to win those 4 Senate seats that would open up. This is the key that we need to do. We need to abolish the filibuster so we can get the PRO Act or reform if that is what we have to accept. And that way we can start getting a real progressive bastion in DC for further needs, giving us a permanent +1 towards future activities. So that's what I'm here with now. I would like to post a link to our next meeting. It will be at this Zoom address. And I'd also like to talk about a panel we just had earlier today, where we talked about the women in the traditionally male-dominated workforces. The Orange County Sheriff Department is going under a workman comp lawsuit for firing the only Black female fire pilot on their entire service. They have also failed to install a women's bathroom in several of the fire stations for the Orange County thing, forcing women to use a bathroom that they don't identify with, even the CIS one, and creating a hostile work environment. So part of all of our labor to stand up must be inclusive of people of all genders and all races, to make sure that we are standing up for those workers that are maligned. And so for that reason, we will also be talking about activities towards the Board of Supervisors to put pressure on the fire department to actually stop discriminating against women in their workforce.
And we're still
needing
to do this. And we're still needing to do this in 2021. Incredible. It's like, what the fuck? It's crazy. A women's bathroom. Like, really, guys? Are you kidding me right now? It's crazy.
So it was absolutely terrible. And there's all sorts of homophobia regarding to one of the only lesbian fire captain that we have in the entire county. There's all sorts of specific tests that they do specifically with the idea to eliminate women's potential to be hired in the first place. And so all of that sort of stuff is some of the actions that we will be coordinating for, since we are taking the new direction towards direct community activism through National Organization for Women. I would like to invite everyone here to attend our May 1st meeting, where we will be having our inaugural non-panel meeting of the year, and we'll be talking about all the sorts of direct action we'll be doing.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Rich, is that a new hand or a pre-existing hand from the last announcement?
Were you talking to me?
Yes, your hand's still up. Is that from the do you have something additional?
No, that's from the last announcement. I'll take it down.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not stepping on you. All right. Does anybody else have anything else that you'd like to bring up? Okay, so we meet on the 3rd Sunday of every month, unless there's a holiday or something going on, then I might move it. But our next meeting is going to be on April 18th. And we always meet at 4 p.m. If you signed up to the meeting tonight, I think it gave you the option to potentially sign up for all the meetings. So it would show up in your Zoom emails to come back. And we're going to have, next month, we're going to have Alan Minsky, who is the executive director of Progressive Democrats of America, interviewing Angelica Dunes. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She, I believe, is running for Congress or Assembly. Can somebody from LA tell me that? Can you remind me?
Well, if it's Angelica Duenas.
Yes, you're better at this than me.
And it's Duenas, and I don't know if she's running for Congress again, or because she challenged Tony Cardenas in the last go around. And but I think you're right. I think she may be running for Assembly this time. But she probably pushed Tony Cardenas. That's the way he pronounces it. He doesn't pronounce it Cardenas, unfortunately. But she pushed him, and now he was one of the original co-sponsors for Medicare for All, which was actually a huge victory. Kind of like Marcy Winograd when we pushed out, what was her name? Jane Harmon out of Congress. Marcy Winograd pushed Jane Harmon out altogether. And we ended up with Ted Lieu, you know, in there instead. So very important what Angelica Duenas did. And so I'd be real interested to hear what she's doing now.
Yes, absolutely. I'm super excited that she's agreed to come to the next meeting. We spoke a couple weeks ago about doing this, and she has some great ideas. She's definitely a progressive candidate, and she's a fighter. So please join us next month on the 18th of April at 4 p.m. And we'll get to hear what she has to say about her upcoming political careers, basically her run. So that's all I have for tonight. Like I said, I do apologize that my guest speakers got tied up and they weren't able to join us tonight, but I hope that we did at least give you some things that were productive for you and that it was worth your time.
It was a great meeting, Jenna.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm just proud of you because you didn't say the word legit one time.
I know I usually say it all the time, don't I? I do.
I was gonna take a shot of whiskey every time you said it, but you didn't say it one time.
Absolutely have a drinking game about my catchphrases that I can't even legit.
Yes.
What's the other one I say all the time?
I know you have several. But
there's at least one more that I say a lot, but I do appreciate that you waited until the very end to point out that I do this.
Because then you would have been, exactly.
Okay. That's all I have, everybody. So thank you for coming, and I hope to see you next month.
Thank you. Great to see everyone. Thanks.
Great to meet everybody. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
Sorry, it was late.
That's okay.